so that YouTube can get a hold of it.
I am, it's funny because I'm very computer literate, and getting something to work on here has been really interesting. So all I can do is see our faces.
It never wants to work when you want it to. That's the only thing.
I know. I should be like a Zoom go-to meetings, specialist by now, because I deal with this all day, every day now. But I mean, it's not a bad thing,
Of course not.
I mean, no one knows what we're wearing from the waist down.
That's true,
right?
If anything. So it's in their best interest not to know.
Exactly. I mean, this clown outfit, it's working out for me.
The best part is that Chicago is here, and I am outside getting some fresh air, not walking, not being outside. I'm staying safe in my proximity.
Fantastic. So are we, let us know, Ryan, when you're ready to roll.
I have my device volume turned down, so let's go ahead.
All right. Intros?
Kelly, take it away.
All right. I am Kelly Tidmore, and thank you for joining us again. I am a co-director, executive producer, along with the others that will introduce themselves here. But I'm just glad to be here, and thank you for tuning in again. We're doing these every Wednesday. So please continue to, join us. We have some exciting things going on tonight as well as next week.
I'll go next, I guess. I am Ryan, co-creator, director of photography. I originally cast Jen in a very short script, what it seems to be eons ago.
Hi, I'm Andrea Sooch. I'm one of the actors in Conrad. I am playing Gianna. So excited to be here.
Jennifer, co-creator. I'm Jennifer, co-creator and actress, Kate Conrad, executive producer and producer. I'm very excited to have Andrea on here with us as well. So I think there's a little bit of a weird delay. I don't know what's going on. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up, but hopefully everyone is here and can hear us okay.
Yep, we're good.
Fantastic. Yeah, it looks like it's subsided. So, so I think we were just talking about this, but I think the best way to start this would be to have Andrea, go from the beginning. She has such an inspiring story that actually led her to New York, to us, Conrad in Chicago. And I'm just amazed by her talent altogether. She's more than not just an actress, because that's a big deal, especially in the world that we live in. But aside from that, so Andrea, please grace us with your story.
So I was born on a beautiful day in May. Just kidding. No, not. So you said that you didn't know about me, that I was a child protégé violinist.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which was an amazing time. And the reason it was amazing, because it really, really taught me how to respect the stage, respect the audience, practice, be a performer from the very, very, very get-go. And I'm always grateful for that experience. It was a very famous children choir back there in Hungary, which belonged to the Hungarian TV and radio. Mm-hmm. And we were sort of like the Wiener Singerknaben in Vienna. So it was a bunch of kids, but it was a professional choir. And that allowed me to go out to the West when you could not leave socialist, or how some people call it, communist Hungary. So that was kind of like a big deal. And it was an open door for me. I continued performing in that choir as a singer, violinist, until I was 14. And by then the bud bit me. So you know, it was official that I will be a performer.
So do you, just really quick, do you still play?
No, I don't. Oh. But I have to.
But I'm sure you could if you needed to pick up a violin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I would love to have a reason to pick up the violin, but it's just one of those things that we can't keep up with everything we do.
Right, right, right.
It's you know, so it kind of goes in waves.
Mm-hmm.
We do so many things.
So,
So how did you make the transition? You know, you're a violinist, you were doing all of that. You know, what transitioned you to kind of get into film and theater and kind of jumping into that?
So I was trained as an opera singer after I stopped playing the violin, and I had an opportunity to sing in La Scala in Milano,
wow.
Very cool.
and I didn't enjoy it.
What? Really?
Really?
No, so
Why?
I don't know. So I figured that if I don't enjoy this, and this is pretty much the pinnacle of that, I should do something else. So I decided that I will try musical theater, which I adored. It was really great. I enjoyed every moment. So I went back to Vienna. It was a musical theater school that was called the Hochschule für Musik und Darstellende Kunst, which means that it's like a performing arts school. So it was mainly, you know, all kinds of arts, dancers, singers, opera singers, musical singers, actors. And I love musical theater. I just adored musical theater. So I started to do that in Austria, and I was in a couple of productions with Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And I met this dear, dear friend, Amelia, who became one of my best friends. And she said, why did you come to New York, do a little vacation, and you go to see Broadway shows, and I give you the number of my voice teacher, and we go to Broadway dance. So I did that. The most exhausting vacation of my entire existence, because
Really?
oh my God, I took 2 dance classes a day. I went to every single show I could see in standing room. It was amazing, but I was totally exhausted. So it was December, and very cold, very windy. Emilia was living around 72nd Street.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to go down the subway. New Yorkers or who've been to New York, do you guys know the 72nd subway station?
Not
Yeah.
too familiar.
Not that
with that.
specific, but I know that it's chaotic.
Yeah, it's chaotic, it's beautiful. So I tried to go down, and the wind blew me into a building. Literally, like into the building. And it was the American Musical and Dramatic Academy.
Oh, now that's interesting.
Wow.
That's like
pretty
kismet,
cool.
like it was meant to
It was
happen.
total kismet. So, and check this out. They had auditions 3 days out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
was
it while you were there.
Wow.
Wow.
Wednesday.
That's crazy.
So I start to talk with the receptionist that, oh, I'm from Europe, I'm doing musical theater. She's like, oh, we just have auditions, do you want to try out? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And I signed up for Friday. So I was singing a Hungarian operetta in Hungarian, and then I went into the library and I learned a little short monologue from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in, I did my piece, and I was like, it's gonna make the best story at home. What a gutsy girl I am. And I went home, forgot all about it. You know, it was a great story, and I auditioned for that. And then I had a contract to do Jesus Christ Superstar in Austria.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was in Hungary spending some time with my family. And my mom, I'm gonna date myself, but it was like a long telephone with like a long wire back then, you know, cell phones or little wireless.
Sure.
So I'm in the bathtub, and my mom is like dragging in the telephone, yelling that, Ata, probably it's Amelia because she speaks English. Like for my mother, she speaks English, it's Amelia. And then it wasn't Amelia, it was a lady whose name I will always remember. And if you are listening, I will always love you, Leslie Robinson, because she was the administrator in the school. And she said, welcome, when would you like to start school? And then I said, it's great, I really don't have money. And she said, we know. We talked to your director in Jesus Christ. And, you know, we talked to a couple of people, and we would like to offer you a scholarship that you don't have to pay.
Wow.
You can let that go, right? So the
Wow.
only thing, it was February, so I finished Superstar, and then I started school I moved to the States in 94, November, I think, or October, something like that. And then I was going through the integrated professional program, which hosted people who had previous stage experience. And I went through the summer, so I was doing the 2-year program in a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy how all
That's
this is
incredible.
kind of manifested. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Like it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. It was a lot harder than I thought.
Always.
But
Well, I didn't speak English very well, I mean,
tell us about that. How did you kind of evolve and learn? I mean, you're incredible, and obviously,
well, I was 28. So I was in a spring. Now you do the math, exactly, what's the deal here. But, I'm never shy about my age. I'm over 50. And I was 28 at the time. And I was speaking English, but I was speaking like bad high school English, right? I spoke fluent German because I went to school in Vienna. I spoke some English. I had American friends, but we were all speaking German since it was in a German theater. So the working language was German. And I thought I can speak English. Well, when you have to do Lady Mac in school, you realize you don't speak English as well as you think you speak English. So it's not, if I can order pizza, it was like serious work, scene work, songs, everything. And I was schwitzing, you guys. Like the first 6 months, if I had money for a plane ticket to go home, I would have. It was rough.
So, I mean, to me, it sounds like you kind of learned just by hearing just language around you. Did you take any coursework for like English classes?
When I knew that I got accepted, I was really powerhousing English. So I really put most of my energy into learning English. I asked all my American friends not to talk to me in German, just talk to me in English. I was watching a lot of movies in English, television. I tried to understand songs in English, musicals, and rap, actually, because it's so spoken words. And I really like the rhythm of it, so I really enjoyed trying to understand what it is about. And, there is a required course in school to have speech, voice and speech, which was challenging because it was only 2 international students, me and a Swedish girl. And in Sweden, English is kind of like a second language. So it was very, very challenging for me to keep up with the coursework. And then, of course, I had to work. So, I just did everything to stay alive and stay afloat. I was living with Amelia and her husband at the time. And her husband was German, so thank God I could speak some German at home just to give my brain a break. And it just worked out. So it's one of those things that luck favors the well prepared and the diligent. So I was just like doing it. And one day I recognized that I understand everything, and I don't dream in Hungarian. I don't dream in German. When I started to dream in English, that was kind of like a point that I knew that I have a command of the language that is necessary.
It's
That's really
I
interesting.
mean, half your battle was just learning the English language, not even acting. It's just learning how to even communicate with those and just understanding. I mean, if you want to get better at acting, get better at this first. I mean, that had to have been frustrating.
I mean, most people are, trying to hone in their craft on acting, and you're doubling the work and you're still mastering it. I mean, you're an incredible actress. So those of you who don't know, I just kind of need to toot Andrea's horn for a minute, because if you haven't seen her work, watch Claws, watch The Blacklist. I mean, she is a star. And here's the thing. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know anything about her. We all know how much I love The Blacklist. If you don't know, just ask Harry. But And there's no joke to that. But I was watching an episode, I think it's season 3, and I see this woman in this pink suit in this in this courtroom. I'm like, she's amazing. I don't know who she is. She's amazing. I gotta work with her. And the next thing I know, I'm Facebooking her and I'm talking to her. We're becoming friends. I think it was like a year that we had been interacting. We kept saying we have to work together. And it turned out it worked out perfectly, because we're going to show this scene in a little bit. But, she absolutely landed the role as Michael Conrad's assistant, and she is phenomenal at it. It's a character that has a lot of depth. And, we see her in the pilot in a little bit of a moment. Her story isn't fleshed out till later. But what's so exciting and so unique about her is you could see so much depth to the character just in the scene that she's in.
Oh, it's suspicious. She's sexy. It's
very good.
No, really. No,
Sorry, Dan.
intriguing.
She's sexy.
No, really. I mean, seriously. Like, there's a sense of just posture about her. She's very classy, sexy, but she looks like she's got something she's hiding. So I love her character, and I can't wait to see that develop.
Yeah, there's a moment, I'm not going to give any details away until we watch it, but there's a moment where where you deliver something to Michael Conrad and he gives you a comment back. And as opposed to, okay, you pause and you make a face, I'm like, okay, what was that about? And so I think there's little nuances that you put into your character that I think kind of caught me off guard when I was on set, as I'm like, wait, where did that one come from? All right.
I mean, who can just hand over an envelope? And I mean, you're just wondering what's going on, even doing that, delivering some data, and you're going, what is this woman about? Yeah, let's do it.
So I think everyone should see this scene, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and jump into that.
Need one moment here.
IT.
Get things all set up. All right.
I loved this scene, by the way.
Yeah, Terry, you guys will like
to add some mysteriousness to it,
That. And away we go.
Yes.
Here I got Finnock.
Good morning. Come on in.
This was rushed over from the district attorney's office. I was instructed to give this to you directly.
Great. Thanks. Excuse me.
Open or close?
Oh, close, please.
So I think what's exciting and mysterious about that scene, and obviously there's some kind of, relationship that we're trying to understand between the two characters. And I think, her reactions and just how, you really brought Gianna to, that kind of confidence that, we have this relationship, and then, okay, you just got stepped on. I'm going to walk out that door, and I don't know how I feel about you, but I want to know what's in that, what did you just do Gianna for? And it makes,
and that's only a part of it. So if everyone could see the rest of it, which you have to wait for, you just wonder where her place is in all of this, because her demeanor changes.
Well, there were some
I love it.
New York City that we were filming that, you definitely had more layers to your character. And I definitely, I knew all about the character in the script and through conversation, but I felt that you put a little bit more, oomph into the performance. And I think there's a lot more, it's an iceberg. There's just a small tip on the surface. There's a whole bunch more that, we can hold on to. So
It's
And I
so,
think,
thank
oh.
you. It's very, very meaningful to me. And as you guys were talking, I was just linking what we talked about, like, the language thing. Like,
Mhm.
I did not have language when I first started school. So speaking is not something I was strong at. So I remember that I always compensated, to have the emotional life, because I didn't have the words.
Mhm.
And I think this is kind of like a deficit that became an advantage, down the road. Because there are no small parts. Every part is important. I remember I was watching Bohemian Rhapsody, and that was this one guy who had one line, and it was one of the most powerful lines for me. All he said is "Deo." I remember that scene. It was a life in that scene. It was a whole story in that one Deo.
Wow. Oh yeah, I love
You
that movie.
remember
By the
that?
way,
Yeah.
I
So,
watched it a few times. I love it.
Was it
I
was
love
it
it
Tom
too.
Hanks? Was it Tom Hanks or Matthew McConaughey? He had one line. He was asked to do something. He said, "I can do it," and he did that one line. He blew it away, and he became like a huge star after that. Gosh, I wish I
I don't know
remember.
if it was Tom Hanks.
Was it Matthew McConaughey? Well,
Maybe.
maybe not Tom Hanks. I'm about to get made fun of for this one, but that's okay. I can take it. Someone who is very well renowned now, who's a big celebrity, was literally begging for an opportunity, got a line, and apparently said it with such story behind it. He ended up becoming huge. And, I think one of the big things about it is that, first and foremost, we all hear that no line is too small, no scene is too small. Absolutely true. There is nothing that is too small. Okay, you're a co-star, you get upgraded, whatever the case is, fantastic to you, because that's huge, because there is so much you can do with just that thing. That one line, embody that character, bring that to life, have a story behind what you're saying. I mean, if you watch that scene, and again, you'll be able to soon, you can really see how much story is behind everything she says, how much the energy changes throughout the duration of the scene. So I think that's important. If you want to share how you kind of built that character, we'd love to hear it.
And I think, Jen, just so like kind of an extension of what you've or extended piece of what you just said was, doing, and you actually touched on it as well, Andrea, is doing more with less. You were in that room, and even though you were just delivering an envelope, we really got to see your character to wonder what your relationship was. And it's just very intriguing. So exactly what Jen had said, what is it that you do to bring that more or with less and bring that out in your character? How do you prepare for that?
I just understand her.
Mm-hmm.
And in my other life, I do work as a psychodrama and drama therapy person.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask about.
I want to
too,
hear all
because I
about
saw that you were a
And
clinician.
there is also questions on the chat panel, so I don't know if somebody is monitoring those, but I see them popping up. I just don't see it well. So yeah, so actually, I'm sorry if it's not exciting enough for you to hear that, but all I do is I understand a character, and I have a little chat with the character in an empty chair. Like I literally asking Gianna that, who are you? What makes you tick? What's going on? And then I reverse roles like in psychodrama or in drama therapy, and she tells me.
So do you think that really helps you your background as a clinician, right?
Yeah, probably. Acting is human behavior. Like it's not a big difference. I mean, as actors, we spend decades of studying how to behave like a human being. So I think that for me, and it's my process, so everybody has a different process, and I'm familiar with all the schools of acting, but at the end of the day, it's human behavior, and however you get to that's the road for you.
What advice can you offer actors who are watching this, who want to be able to get to the point that you're at and really be able to bring in that character and really?
I would just say that try on everything you can get your hand on and see what works, and find that teacher who is a master to you, who is inspiring you. For me, it's Tim Phillips.
Mhm.
And please Google him, please check him out, because he's a genius. And he's just, he really, how he works, it really works for me. And it's to, who is that character, embody it, what does he, and it's just really works for me. I can't really sum it up in a sentence how he works, so please look him up. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then so with Gianna,
Yeah.
your character, I have to ask you because she is mysterious. How much of you do you think is similar to your character in Conrad?
Oh,
You think
God,
you have? Yeah. Okay.
Robert Duvall says that all the role is
Mhm.
you bent,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, we all think that, oh, I'm such a great actor, I can play anything. No, you can't. Because if you don't bring that vibe into the room, if it's not you at some level,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you can, but somebody else, probably it's a better alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just think about your life. Think about your personal life as a person. How many roles do you play? Are you
Oh,
a
yeah.
spouse, a mother, a friend, an actor, a therapist, a neighbor? It's a million of roles. And as an actor, there are a million of roles, which is a good alignment. And can you develop a new role? Yes, in life too. You can develop a new role in life. It takes work, just like developing a new character as an actor. So Gianna and me are very, very similar. So I hope you don't mind to blow the cover. I did not get ready too much because it was an alignment. I said the lines.
So we got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
The first one, and this is just because we're still on Gianna, I want to jump on this one, but how would you like to see your character expand? What are you excited about for Gianna?
Well, I don't want to give away the storyline because we did, that's the creative team who is on the screen. So we did talk about Gianna's storyline a little bit. And, I don't want to give away too much, but she's very crucial to, she's kind of like what Dembe is to Red. This is who Gianna is.
Right? There you go.
The right hand, the one who would die for him. And because the backstory will tell you what, you're going to have to watch the show. But, it's justified that, Gianna got essential things from Michael that are so very important to her that she would literally do anything for this man.
So they have a good relationship. That's exciting.
They have a great relationship. And
as if I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. And of course, you're gonna. We talked about a storyline. We've seen the pilot. It's a 10-episode first season, so there is more to come. And of course, I hope that it will be an interesting character that people can identify with and people can get inspired by, and we all gonna have fun. And oh my God, playing with Eric Roberts, it's a dream. It's a dream.
Fantastic. He's so fun, isn't he?
So easy.
Eric is great to be around.
And so generous and so
talented.
Just it was.
Did you learn a lot from him?
Oh my God, of course. Yeah, just the way he gives a line. It's just bounces. It's like a dance.
So let me ask you this. We got this question. This is a great segue. I always like to segue. But John Wick 3, I mean, holy crap, amazing. How was it working with Keanu Reeves? We got that question.
It was an out-of-body experience. Okay. So I had 2 words, and I was the talker in the scene, okay? So it was Keanu Reeves and me, and I say 2 words, and then he say no words. Well, in his no words, it was 3 lifetimes. So again, it was everything in that one facial expression. So how we shot it, it was a Friday day.
What day?
A Friday. Yeah.
It was 4 a.m.
We've had many of those, right?
It was a 4 a.m. on a Friday night, Saturday morning. And the rain machines were going. If you remember the scene, it was raining. And we were inside in this beautiful theater, and the 2 chairs were sitting next to each other. And, I'm sitting next to Keanu Reeves and minding my own business. I know better, we all know we don't, disturb their process. We don't know what's going on, in their preparation. So I sit there, don't say anything. And then he turns to me and he introduces himself. Well, I almost fall off my chair, right? I'm like, and then I'm just like, hey, trying to, like, I do it every day. Yeah. So I say hello back to him. And then he said, I'm so sorry, I'm not very talkative, but I'm like, hey, I totally understand it's late.
Nice, he apologized for not being chatty.
Yeah. And then he's so sweet. And then he was just like, do you want to take a selfie? I'm like, yeah. So we took a selfie, which I framed and cherish, and it's just so meaningful. And again, the scene was just so much fun because with a generous partner who gives so much and so deeply into his process, is just pure joy to be around, and a huge honor to play with.
Fantastic. So out of because I know you were on Law and Order as well for a while. I think
most New York actors had a chance to be on Law and Order. Back then.
Gotta move to New York. No, I'm just kidding.
So out of all of your experiences, as far as your learning experience, what has moved you the most in your career as far as who you've worked with? Who have you learned from the most, or what has been your best experience to kind of carry you forward?
Well, it's an interesting question because the answer is always the last one. But actually, if I have to pick one, it's Reva on Claws.
Oh, okay.
Tell us more.
It was, so Reva was same, like kind of Gianna. She had very little at the beginning and it really grew as the series was going on. And also we shot in New Orleans, which meant that it was sort of like camp because nobody was from New Orleans from the main cast. I think one person was from New Orleans. So it means that it was like, hey, you want to hang out? Let's go eat something. Or, let's go to see this theater piece. So we really bonded with the cast. And it was just beautiful, beautiful times. And we're still in touch. And I just cherish those relationships. Nisi, Jen, Karuchi, Carrie Preston, just thank you so much. So amazing how they were just, again, so generous, and they made me feel like I'm one of the gang and embraced me and loved me. And it was an amazing experience.
I think that's one of the things when you're shooting, like we were on Conrad or a film or what have you. Sorry, I'm losing my earpiece. And developing the relationships, and you understand why some people have a really hard time, because when you're with people day in and day out for weeks and months, it becomes family. So when that's over, going back to reality, going back to the real world, it sometimes is quite the transition. Yes. So I think being able to do that, but to have those long-lasting relationships, that's been my biggest and most valuable experience in doing this, is meeting such amazing people. And you being one of those, and of course the gang, Ryan and Jennifer, and but just the talent, the level of talent that we've been able to work with on the crew side as well.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. What I love about Conrad, that Conrad in the pilot episode seemed like you guys worked together for 3 seasons.
Fantastic.
So I felt such a cohesion, and you're right, it was cast and crew, and everybody wanted to be there. I felt that. And day one, when I entered set, I was just made so welcomed that it really, really stood out for me. And that was incredibly special. So you guys have a really, really great group of people doing Conrad, cast and crew.
Thank you.
Casting, whoever did it, kudos. Really amazing.
You're fun too, by the way. I mean, the moment that I think what we had you in the car, we're
You
had the
picked me up
windows
at
down.
Oh
the
And,
my gosh.
yes, we went down to the
my
airport.
director, executive producer, you know, so it was just
It
amazing.
was so fun.
I remember when you came into the lobby of the hotel and I like ran up to you. I was like, Andrea, so nice to meet you. I
And it
feel
was
like
just
I know
funny
you.
because our hair, we had all the windows down, our hair's
Yeah.
flying all over, we're
I
blasting
still have
music.
that video
And
on
it
my
was like
phone.
we
It
had
wasn't
been
yet.
friends forever,
And
you know?
changed her because she was Russian, and then she changed her to Hungarian.
Oh, that's
Remember?
awesome.
Well, when I learned that
Yeah.
that's you even spoke, I'm like, yeah, that's why it's great to be the writer, right? You can just be like, all right, I'm changing this. No, I mean, and that means so much because I think, you know, and just to kind of, you know, let all the actors out there know, you know, one of the most important things is really connecting with the team and having that relationship because it really helps you when you're in, you know, I think it's the most important thing to do. And, you know, actually funny this, but Leslie Glatter said she does this on her sets, but it is so important when you get on your sets, introduce yourself to everyone. I don't care if you're the PA, if you're cleaning up, no job is less than, every single person is needed and every single person is important. And, you know,
We all do everything though. I mean,
Well-
there's people I hear go, I didn't know she was the director. She's over there sweeping, you know,
Yeah.
or because
Yeah.
something needed to get done. And if I can do it myself and I have the time at that moment to do it, I'm going to do it. If I have to hold a light, if I have
told
to
several
slate,
I
times
remember
to let
passing
my-
food out and people were like, aren't you supposed to be acting? I'm like,
I
yeah,
have been told several times to let to let the ACs do some of the work that I was doing. So
yeah.
all right.
I mean, you just jump in. It's a collaboration of creativity, and that's what makes it so fun. It's not work,
No.
you know. It's passion. It's
Yeah.
you know, the desire to work with people who are talented and make something beautiful, and that's what it's all about, and helping people progress. I mean, it's funny how you look at Keanu Reeves in a certain way, right? Well, we look at you in a certain way, Andrea. So when we're like, oh my gosh, she's here, you know, just because we have so much respect for your talent, and we were so excited to have you, and
we were honored that you came from New York to join us here in Chicago. And then,
yes,
guys, what you don't realize is we went to New York to film. Harry had made some recommendations as an executive producer, and we wanted to, you know, utilize those. And we went out to New York and we filmed at the Fountain, and we were at Central Park, and it was the most amazing.
Bethesda Fountain, was that right?
That was the Fountain.
No, was it Bethesda Fountain? I think that's what it was
Yes,
called,
Bethesda.
right?
There's the
Yeah.
word. Thank you.
There you go.
But we did part of our opening credit filming with Andrea because her character evolved. So the opening credits, which we're going to show in one of our webinars, but we utilized Andrea because her character does grow, and it's kind of something that we wanted to emphasize. There's more story than just the pilot. A lot of people are asking me, I think we're at 17 of these questions. When can I see Conrad? Guys, I promise you, we
want to show it to you.
I know, I'm done. It's just that the studios and the networks like to be the first to see it. And, you know, right now we're gearing up all of our pitch materials. Our Bible is 98% done. We are finalizing to get it in front of the right people so that we can show the world, because the show is something that everyone who was involved should be proud of. And it was a work of art, and we're so thrilled and excited to continue showing you guys what we've created. So,
and I know I keep going back to it, but I can't tell you, and I can say it time and time again, how grateful and how blessed we are for everyone who touched Conrad.
Absolutely.
And that's why I do it. I always want to be involved in something that's much bigger than I am, and that can really influence and affect other people in some way, whether it's just meeting other people and I don't know, connections, whatever it is. That's what keeps me going, is to be involved and to help people and just to watch something grow. And I am just grateful. And I know I keep saying it, I'll probably say it next week, how appreciative we are. And I just can't wait to see everyone again.
Well, and Andrea, speaking of hope and being grateful, you know, one of the things, you know, Andrea, that you've emphasized that I really want to kind of hammer into is how we can create that hope for others out there. I mean, obviously the pandemic is scary. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in Hollywood. What are your thoughts in terms of how we can keep ourselves positive and hopeful about the future, and for actors, crew, and anyone?
Well, there are actually a couple of things that are backed up by research that we can do immediately. So my last post, or the one before the last post on Instagram, was those who've seen it.
You just went frozen. Anyone else?
No, I'm good.
No, she's
I
frozen.
don't know if she's frozen. Yeah.
List.
Uh-oh.
Andrea,
So-
you went out from
Andrea, you went out for a good 30 seconds.
Okay. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I say it again, it's important. So even if you heard it, it's good to hear it again.
Mhm.
So every morning when I wake up, I start my morning by creating 3 lists. The first one is a to-do list. And I list a bunch of micro goals for that day. What do I have to do? I have to water the plants, get food, do the laundry, call my interns, do a Zoom call, and I list what I have to do. Then I write the to-did list, things I accomplished, things I'm proud of, things are done, right? What I did the day before. And then I'm doing a ta-da list, which is practically what I'm grateful for. And those are more emotional than cognitive things. Like usually I catch myself writing, oh, that flower is smelling so sweet. The lake is beautiful. How the ocean waves are playing. When my partner comes home and gives me a hug. So those 3 lists are sure thing to make me more on purpose. Because hope by definition is something that you feel that you believe that you have control over your future. And for some we do, for some we don't. So let's focus on what we can control. Little things we can do every day. Kindness, get in touch with somebody who might be lonely. Hang on with your friends on Skype or on Zoom. Stop and literally smell the flower. Now we have time for it. Spend some time noticing the beauty around you that we usually rush by. And it sounds so cheesy and it sounds so like bumper sticker, but it's totally real. So if you want, go on my website, write me an email and I will send you.
What's your website?
It's andreasooch.net. Maybe somebody can put it on the chat box.
I will absolutely do that.
Okay.
I think what you're saying is so true. I mean, even for all of us, like I work so much and I'm so busy that this time, even though I'm working every day, all day, at home, it's made me realize that I wasn't taking enough time for myself, like even just to meditate or to enjoy the beauty, around me. So you really touched on something that's so critical. And I think it's making people really realize and reflecting on what is important to them.
Absolutely.
Versus things that are not,
If I may, it seemed to me like you were kind of touching on the purpose of different things. Like, will you wake up and smell the coffee? Will you wake up and smell the flowers? It turned into be a saying, but now you're actually doing it. And in regards to, the acting community can be very, very, very challenging. And there's all kinds of rejection, and there's a lot of rejection going on with the pandemic, with jobs and things like that. Do you have any advice or I guess insight towards those that have held down or do currently hold down a day job because acting wasn't going so well, or for those that are just not sure if acting is going to work out for them, and now how the tables have turned to where now we're confined to our homes, and the only way you can have a TV show is with actors. Now they do have a purpose. They've always had a purpose. It's just a matter of how you perceive their purpose having a role in your life. And it was almost, okay, well, I know you act, but do you actually have a job? A lot of people, they get paid a lot of money to do acting, but it used to be, and kind of still is somewhat frowned down upon. It just depends on the person. I'm curious on how you feel this changing that industry, the perception of that industry.
It's flattering that you think I have this answer. So let me just tell you, how is it working in my life? Would that work for our purposes here? Okay. So I think that people have more than one talent and people have many strengths. In addition to being an actor, I am a therapist and I'm working with people with intellectual disabilities. I operate as a coach and I'm teaching in a social work program at master level at Fordham, also associated with Columbia. I do not feel for a moment that it's my day job. I feel that I am aiding people to grow. I feel that I'm inspiring people, whatever the tool is. By the way, I'm a drama therapist, so the tool is the same. It's performance and story. It just, as an actor, I concentrate more on the product, right? Where is Conrad? Where is the show? And as a therapist, I'm concentrating more on the process, right? We don't care about if there is no, the process is the product, right? So in acting, it's more that the audience enjoy, the audience gets more out of it, the audience can relive the situation or have this emotion from the safety of their seat, right? In a session as a drama therapist, you will go through it with me and work through it. But it's still performance and story, right? So I feel that it's the same animal from different angles, right? And everybody's looking at it from a different angle, so see something else bigger. I really think that actors are healers. Imagine if we wouldn't have Netflix right now.
No, it's interesting that you say
Yeah,
that,
it'd
because
be very boring at night.
We would not have entertainment if you couldn't see a funny movie, if you couldn't listen to your favorite song. How would that be?
no, and I think that's a really good point. And I think that, you know, I openly will share this, you know, for me, it was always, you know, you need to find something other than acting. You know, that was something that I grew up with, where I was in musical theater my whole life. And, you know, I went to college, and then, you know, after college, I wanted to pursue acting. And my parents were like, when you're 18, you can figure it out. And then when I was 18, they still didn't want me to do it. And, you know, I think there's a lot of people out there that are in the same situation where they're young and they have families holding them back, saying, this isn't for you. And, you know, one of the things I decided in 2009, but also moreover really in 2016, is I was not going to keep listening to what I was being told I should do or should be, but I followed what I felt was on my heart, and that was utilizing my performance skills. And I utilized my strengths in writing, and I was very blessed that Ryan opened up the opportunity for me to write a pilot episode and a story that runs, you know, it's 3 seasons deep. But my point is that I've been allowed to create. And it has been one of the biggest gifts that I can say I've ever received, and that I've ever allowed myself to receive. And that is the key. Allowing yourself to receive what you feel is right. Having a reason to wake up in the morning and to feel empowered to do something that you can do. And I think that, you know, again, times are changing. This pandemic is opening up a lot of eyes. And, you know, these webinars were much closer than we've ever been. I think I see some people more than Kelly. I see
Socialization. I know, it's so crazy.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
but,
I know
you
it
know,
by myself and my husband.
I have to tell you what I wanted to be when I was a kid.
Tell us.
You're gonna laugh. I told my mom, you know, I grew up in the South, so I was like, Mama, I want to be a nun. She said, we're not even Catholic, girl. And I've been sending you to Baptist church for all these years. You are not going to be a nun. You know, I don't know why.
With Whoopi Goldberg.
So I would walk around the house, because you know how you take a t-shirt off and then you let it hang on your head? That was my wardrobe. So all the black t-shirts in the house were missing, right? It was me.
It was the actress in you. You know, you wanted to.
Kelly, you're in the wrong profession. You shouldn't be directing. You should be an actress.
Oh my goodness.
The funny thing is, I wanted to be a teacher.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to be a teacher the same year I wanted to be a performer. It was my first grade teacher.
And now you're both.
And I'm both.
Yeah.
And God bless my father. You know, he would be
That's
so
awesome.
proud of me. He passed away, unfortunately. But he didn't let me. My parents were like your parents, Jen. Like
Yeah.
he demanded, and he is the scientist, right? My mom is
He was the professor, right?
professor, right? So he said, you can do whatever you want, but you have to get the quote real degree. So I went to teachers college. So I had a teaching degree before all the clinical degrees or
Interesting.
therapy degrees or and thank God, because look what I'm doing now.
Honestly, Andrea, I have worked with more teachers on Conrad, especially my gaffer Mike Wright, that I'm very blessed to know their teaching background because it just makes working with them so much easier. Harry has the same kind of background. I think he taught with CPS for some time.
We just found out he could play the piano. He can
yeah,
sing.
he
he
has
did
some
that
amazing skills. But
when we were
he's
after
also an
party.
educator, and I find
crazy.
I have a lot of respect for those. So,
And thank
Which,
God,
by the way, speaking of Harry, he's on next week. So make sure
Yay.
everyone who's tuning in joins us because Harry Lennox, who
Yeah,
is also
you
on
guys like the
Conrad and a
Blacklist.
regular on the Blacklist, will be with us
yes.
next Wednesday, 7 p.m., 8
Another
p.m.
amazing
Eastern. Andrea, what do you feel? Because you've really, I think you've even inspired me because I think I'm going to start making those 3 lists now.
To do, to done, to did. Got it.
I mean, seriously.
It helps you get through the day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be to dying tomorrow.
I do it with coffee. It's so much fun. That's my little
It's so
morning.
cool.
The
And
thing
then
is, I don't drink coffee.
So I have a question though. Do you journal?
Yeah.
You do. I knew it.
Kelly,
Yeah, I knew it.
the journal you gave me, I use every day.
Journal
That's
is
awesome.
your cheapest therapist.
Fantastic.
It's amazing. As soon as it comes out, it goes from here to here to here. Your brain is automatically processing it. It's amazing what comes out journaling. So yes,
Mine will be buried back here on the farm somewhere.
yes.
I'll go through them, so when I pass, hopefully it'll be like when I'm 100 and something, but you'll find them on the property somewhere. It'll be like a, I don't know, search party or something fun. That'll be my memorial. Find the diaries. But so
Andrea, is there anything else that you want to add? Yeah, Kelly, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, what's next? I mean, are you, aside from Conrad, of course, but what are you doing right now? I know that you're providing therapy for others and that portion of it, but what are you doing that you weren't doing before COVID?
I'm playing a lot more with my artist friends. Like I've sort of reconnected with the Hungarian community, and I'm excited about it. And we are working on a piece of visual poetry in Hungarian, which will be really, really beautiful. So I'm really excited about that. And I am writing an article with my interns, which is exciting. I'm teaching a lot online because I'm teaching a course at a university which called Field Seminar. So it involves the integration of academic studies and field which is, it's kind of challenging now. So it's a lot of involvement with that. And I'm very closely in touch with my students and it's fun. So
are you sleeping?
I'm sorry?
I said, are you sleeping?
Yes, I am actually sleeping and I watch a lot of television. So it's great. We'll be binging Revenge.
Oh, I haven't seen
Oh my gosh. Wait, can I interject?
There you go.
Ryan already knows. When we started Conrad, I had a Nolan Ross. I had an Emily. I'm not kidding. We did a scene in Crystal Lake that was solely based off of Emily and Nolan.
So great.
And yes, and I literally love Emily Van Camp. The Revenge is a great, great show. David E. Kelly is brilliant. Obviously I know all these showrunners because I study this, but the team that wrote Revenge, where are you at in the show? I'm just curious.
We just started season 3.
Okay. I can't say anything, but I'm so excited.
We like watching 3, 4 a night, and then we look at each other and be like, we can't press that button.
My husband's been watching Game of Thrones.
That's great. Well, what about Homeland? I mean, Homeland is almost over, and I'm going to be in like dire. Seriously, because
Leslie,
I
you're
love
up.
that show.
Leslie's episode is on this Sunday, and I don't know who's caught up, and I'm not ruining anything, but oh my goodness.
I
that
know
show-
I'm caught up, and
Oh.
I'm stoked about it, but I'm
I
kind of
can't.
sad at the same time.
I know, I was emotional.
A lot of great shows to watch.
Mhm.
It's a lot
Meaning
Fantastic.
a lot of actors, and crew, and
a
cast are
lot
very
of great
necessary.
actors. And you know, I don't know about you, but they might not be essential, quote, like as for survival, but kind of they are.
They kind of are, actually.
They kind of are, because they recharge the batteries. They make me smile.
They're providing entertainment for the nurses. You know, when they get home, the last thing they want to do is more medicine. They just want to open up a can of whatever, a can of beer, have
So-
4 hours to themselves before another 12-hour day. You know,
For me, it is very important.
it's very
In
think so
closing, I have
too.
one question. So we got to talk about one thing. So your partner, Dr. Dan Thomasu, Thomasu, help me here. That's right, like on WGN. Okay. He has a book on hopelessness and hopefulness. My goodness.
Well, that's what I'm so, by proxy, I know the latest research. So I'm just very, very.
Anything you can share with everyone?
Yes, it is. So we just got the advanced reader's copy. So this is how it looks like.
Oh.
So everyone
Mhm.
should get that book.
It
And
is.
where is that book
I
sold?
did. So I read it. It's a lot of good. It's easy to read. So what I love about Dan is that he puts things so easy to understand, yet it has serious research behind it, and it has exercises how to do those things. So
Oh, very cool.
it's on pre-order on Amazon. It's not an expensive book. So if you're interested in that stuff, please buy it. It's really good. So
We'll post the link, or is it on your website, Andrea?
What is the book again? I wanted to find it.
it's coming out June 1st. And
Oh
it's
my gosh, something
called
to look forward to.
Learn Hopefulness.
Learn to Hopefulness. Got
Yeah.
it.
And it's
That's
kind of
pretty
like how, because at the end of the day, what we want to do is how can you induce positive emotions? Because look, what positive emotions do, they're going to produce dopamine, oxytocin. Those are the happy hormones. They make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can be happy, and when you feel the little tingles because something is pretty or somebody is kind or you're laughing at something, your body produces the happy hormones that make you well, that make you happy. So please do it, whatever it is for you. How can you come up with more and more positive emotions in your daily life?
That's a nice
I
thing
like
to
that.
end on. You were so
Great
inspirational.
to have.
And so
I'm
I-
just really lucky to, and I'm interested in that stuff. And I'm just really lucky because, I hear the conversations here and, Dan had me read a couple of chapters. What do you think? So I'm pretty familiar with the material, and I have to admit that I tried it all, and they really make a difference. They really make a difference in my daily mood, in my whole focus, how I feel,
Yeah.
my motivation. It does.
Very positive person, very positive energy.
I know. And just
Well,
being around you, and I'm a very
I
energy
know.
sensitive person too, I guess, but I think you just have this beautiful aura about you, and just so positive just to be around. And and that makes it so much easier for us too when we're working with such wonderful people on set. And it's just so fun,
You guys haven't caught Andrea on Claws, start watching Blacklist.
Mhm.
Is it season 3? Was it season 3? Well, you're in the most recent.
Yes, there was
Well,
some
that's the other thing. She's
season
in twice.
Season 6.
Yeah, but that's when you're Katarina's mother.
Yes.
But you were also in season 3, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. And then Catcher and Conrad very soon, guys. I promise.
Yes. What do you have to say to our audience about just your experience with Conrad? We have like 2 minutes, so it would be nice to kind of.
I can't wait to get into production and
Me
work
neither.
with the whole group of
Oh,
people.
we can't either.
So then, okay, let's do a little future projection. Okay, imagine that it's season 2. We finished season 1. Everybody loves it.
I can't wait for season 2.
Everything goes in your heart. How does it feel?
Well, you know what? I'm going to give this away because it's not really a giveaway. But in season 2, we learn how you meet Michael, and it's really a cool
I
flashback
learned
story.
It's very cool. It's very international. That's all I'm
love
gonna say.
Yeah, I really can't wait.
So Walt Sloan says, hugs to all of us. Be safe and well. He's amazing as well, and
Walt.
hopefully we'll
Walt
have
is in
him
the
on
show.
soon
Walt
too.
is also attorney. He's a state's attorney in this,
Yes.
in this pilot, and in the future of the show. So he's got quite an interesting story himself.
Yeah,
Not
so we have
Walt.
to have him on as
State's
well.
Andrea,
Absolutely.
thank you very much.
Thank you
for
so much,
joining
Andrea.
us.
You are
Thank you,
such
everybody, and thank you for the
breath
audience.
of fresh air.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
We'll be back next
Thank
week
you.
with Harry.
Harry
Harry
Lennox. So
Lennox.
we're going to have everyone sign up.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Andrea. Have a great, safe
All right.
night, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.